It's so lovely to see people who've already enrolled as well. And obviously, tonight we're going to talk about BBA in a little bit more detail. And I'm just so excited to get started. To kick things off, so I can get to know you a bit better, I would love it if you could, in chat, introduce yourself in the spirit of B2B Breakthrough Academy. When we go through this course together, it is so great for people to support each other, chat together. And so if you can put in chat, let me know what is the one thing that you're struggling the most with in terms of creating your B2B marketing strategy or just being in B2B marketing in general. What this really helps people do is just to feel less alone. It helps people to think, okay, great, I'm with the right people. I'm in a safe place, because you definitely are. This is a conversation about the second live launch of B2B Breakthrough Academy. The biggest thing that's different about BBA is just feeling like you're with people who are like you. We'll do 20 minutes where I'll talk to you about what the course involves. I'm also going to show you around a little bit. I am going to show you some testimonials from past students who are explaining what benefit they had. We actually have Lauren here as well, who was in our last round. If anyone wants to ask any questions, I know Lauren is always comfortable to answer too. Let me just look at chat. Hi, Jenny, and obviously you're already enrolled, which is so exciting. I'm struggling most with imposter syndrome. Can't wait to get unstuck. Yeah, I was actually talking to a few of our graduates from BBA who took the course last January, and one of them, Lise, was talking about how imposter syndrome absolutely engulfed her at Christmas 2023. And this Christmas, she's actually had her budget cut, unfortunately, but her imposter syndrome is completely gone, and she is feeling, as much as she's concerned that the budget's lower, she's not taking it personally. She's absolutely looking forward with positivity, and she's just so proud of herself, that change. That's really great. Hi, Alyssa. Biggest struggle at the moment for me is feeling stuck in a position which isn't valuing marketing strategy. I totally hear you. I imagine that you're feeling like, okay, they just want me to do a bunch of stuff. I'm stuck on the task wheels. I can imagine that is really tough. So you're in the right place. So let me share a few slides. Awesome. Okay, welcome to the BBA Open House event. If you don't already know me, I've been in B2B marketing for 18 years. I'm a TikTok influencer, and I feel like I'm an influencer who's a little bit different in terms of how I talk about marketing, and that I'm really comfortable to be open about the struggles I had. I don't just want to talk about all the amazing things I've done. In terms of my background, I have got strategic experience. I've worked in a large PLC named DS Smith, where I was the head of marketing, worked there for 8 years running their international marketing department. So you can feel comfortable that I've done these big projects and worked in reputable companies. I've also held other roles up to director level. So I've got the experience and the know-how, but I'm really comfortable to be vulnerable with you and talk to you about all the things I struggled with, because I definitely feel like there are quite a lot of people out there who want to talk about how amazing they are, which is great. They are amazing, but sometimes it just leads us to feel a bit less like we've got a place to feel safe. The reason that this course exists is that as I started to become more and more strategic, I realized that actually my story was worth sharing, because it took such a long time to put all that in place. And I thought, why did nothing exist when I needed it to help me do this in the simple way that it can be done? And so, in a way, this course was built purely from demand. People were asking me, well, how did you do this? How did you learn to build strategy? How did you learn to stand up to leaders? How did you find a way to overcome imposter syndrome? And I kind of battled the hard way. And I was just thinking about what would I have wanted in terms of support when I was back in that place. And so originally I just started mentoring marketers. I was like, okay, I can help people. I can really be there for them one-to-one. But then as the TikTok page grew, the demand grew. And so people were like, do you have templates? Do you have a course? And I was sort of like, oh, templates are not me. I can help you, but you'll have to do that bit yourself. And so I think what makes this course a little bit different is that it was built from demand. People really wanted me to share my experience and share my templates and share my approach, as opposed to me making something that I'm not really sure if it's going to work or not and just trying to sell it to you. This is literally just built from people frustrated with over complex marketing models, fragmented templates. You know, we Google a template and then we have to try and attach this other one, and then that one doesn't make sense. And I don't need that part. What does this word mean? Why is everyone talking in such complex riddles? It really does exist to be that antidote to all the courses out there that just honestly leave us feeling more stupid than when we started. B2B Breakthrough Academy is going to be for you if you are stuck on the marketing task wheel. And if you know my content, you'll know that I'm obsessed with talking about this. Comes hand in hand with imposter syndrome, I found in my experience, because when we're just bombarded with a bunch of stuff to get done and there's no strategic direction, you end up on the task wheel. And the problem with the task wheel is that you're working really, really, really hard. But because all the tasks are unlinked with a strategy, you never end up delivering or demonstrating any results. That leaves you feeling like you're rubbish at your job. And because your leaders don't really understand how strategic marketing should work, they think you're not very good at the role too, or you feel like they feel that way, which is almost the same thing, because all we've got is our perception of what we think others are thinking. And so, because of this lack of understanding in a leadership level about how marketing really works and how you need to do a few things really well for it to work versus just trying a bunch of stuff and doing loads of different things at once, that is why we're not seeing those results. If you are feeling alone in your company, if you feel like no one gets me, this must be me, I'm the problem, everyone else in other companies is really good at marketing. If you've got limited budget, if you're typically told, why do you need budget for that? You can do that. I've heard all of these before. If you're really struggling with imposter syndrome, and Jenny quite kindly opened up about that immediately. Also, if you just want to be more strategic, I always knew I needed to be more strategic, and I'd go to write a strategy and I would just get stuck. And that is what is the biggest signal for joining B2B Breakthrough Academy, because this is not just a bunch of templates. This is, let's make a radical transformation. Let's actually make a breakthrough. It's 13 weeks for a very scientific reason. That's the time it takes to really make these shifts in our mindsets, to give each module the time it needs. And so that's really important too. Lastly, if you don't feel respected at work, that's a huge one. You just don't feel like people get you. They're constantly laughing at you, calling you the colouring in team. And actually, as much as you laugh along at times, you do feel like, well, no, I do want to be listened to. Let me tell you a bit about how the course works. I'm going to show you inside the course. In terms of what's included, it's a 13-week course. So we start on January 13th for this intake. We're going to have a welcome party. I'll be there to chat through everything with you, just welcome you in, show you what you need to do, answer your early questions. And before that, you do have access to our community. Jenny has already joined. I know that Chris has already joined. I think Sam's here. And so you automatically already get access to the community, and that's where you can chat to me, ask me questions, introduce yourself. We'll have a little look in there now. You get that from day one to meet these other people taking the course too, and our graduates who are already in there. You also get access to Thrivecart, which is our platform. The templates live within there. I'm actually just going to show you. When you enroll, you'll automatically get a link to Thrivecart, which is our platform. This is where all your content lives for the course. We'll welcome you in. It'll tell you a bit about what you need to know. It's going to tell you how to join the community. It's also going to share the course calendar, which I'll show you in a minute. And it's just telling you what you need to know about how to get support, things like that. You'll then be taken to this module, which is basically how you join the community. I will quickly show you how that looks. It will take you to a registration page, and then you will read the rules of how it all works, and you'll introduce yourself here. Every time someone new, like Jenny literally just did this, every time someone new joins, they will introduce themselves here, and then everyone can hop in and be like, hey, so nice to meet you. This is our course questions tab. Anything that comes up for you when you're stuck. Kim here, for example, she's currently struggling with customer insights. Got some help from me and others. And basically everyone is just sharing their questions. You can see there's all sorts of conversations going on in there. What's really nice is you can search for your problem, and it may well be that someone else is already struggling with that, which first of all makes you feel less alone again. And second of all, is just helping you to find that answer. But every time I do recommend you just create a post and ask away. In here, we've got general B2B questions, because when you sign up, you do get a full year for free in my community, which I feel is a great deal. If you've completed the course and you just actually have a problem, like Chloe here, she posted, she graduated last year and she's like, guys, I'm redoing my strategy. I don't feel like anything needs to change massively. Do I do it from scratch? Or she's had some advice there. And you can just ask any question that you want inside there. In resources drop, I like to encourage people to rewatch. I did a live call the other day with a few people, and If you couldn't attend, you could watch the replay, or maybe our resident CRM person, Samir, he recently shared a piece of content to do with assessing your data strategy. Michael's shared some SEO tools. Basically, anything that is going to be of use to you is in resources drop. And then the really cool one is our live calls. You will get to join me on live calls in there. It's really important when you join that you do access the community straight away, because you don't get live access to me if you don't. And this is where you can ask me anything as well. When you join, you're only going to see these up until January 13th. And then on January 13th, module 1 launches. And so this is module 1. I'm going to walk you through how each module works. When you start a new module, you are going to get a bit of a description of all your templates, your marketing review template, and you'll also get a sample completed version. And for module 1, you get 3 weeks because it can be quite hefty. A lot of you may have already gotten access to the templates. You can see in advance the sorts of questions you'll need to ask your leader. For each module, my feedback on our last live round was that people really struggled with attending every live lesson. What I've decided to do is make the live calls more of an optional Q&A, so that when you join me live is to ask me questions, but the lesson itself is on demand. It's already there for you. You can watch that whenever you want from January 13th. It's a 40-minute lesson. It's also got loads of questions answered in there from our previous round. You watch that module lesson. And then the best thing about each module is that for each section of your templates, there's short description videos explaining exactly how to fill in that part of the template. And you've also got a demo of that part of the template. In the marketing review, there's 7 sections. This is just how I built it because I found courses so confusing in the past. I was like, why are you not making this easy for me? So literally, you go to 1.1, you can watch the video. You go to 1.2, you can watch the video. I built it to be really easy for you to follow. Obviously, you watch the module lesson, you go through the video trainings, and then you join the live call with me if there's anything that you're stuck on. You'll have module 1 for 3 weeks, and then after 3 weeks, module 2 will release. This is a much shorter, simpler module, as you can see. Module 1 is quite hefty. Module 3 is a little bit more training involved, but it's not a huge amount of work. It's to do with selecting your strategies. So you'll work through those. A common question I get asked is, why can't we just have all the content straight away? But the reason for this is that the whole point of this 13-week program is so that you do genuinely go through a process. Because if you're anything like me, I used to just rush ahead. Give me that budget template. I just want to fill in and I just want to get cracking. And I think that is just what is holding us back from finally making a change. But the fun thing is that when you do get to module 4, that's when we actually do have things like a marketing activity plan template, where you really get to seeing how it's all going to look. So like, again, you've got samples throughout where I've filled it out for you. And so it's just a really nice, easy way to go through it. You've got a budget allocation template. So there's literally nothing that you could need that isn't in here. When we get to activating your strategy, I've also put in there a template that you can fill out and put your own branding in, so that you can present your strategy to leadership, so that everything is in there in one simple presentation. You don't have to go away and find out how to turn what you've created into a template. It's just all there for you. Without spending too much more time in here, it's just for you to know that it is so simply set up. There's not a single word of jargon. You also have a few mindset motivation sessions in there as well. Overcoming imposter syndrome, managing your mental health. I'm quite open about my struggles with mental illness in the past, and that can be really helpful to some people. These mindset motivation sessions are there for you from day one as well. If you just want to get like excited about some content, you can watch those as soon as you enroll. That is the course platform. I want to briefly show you the course calendar. 13th of January is week 1, and that's when we release that module. There is a live call with me, and I prompt you here to watch module lesson 1. I also put in purple throughout the course to have meetings with your people. For example, I really recommend booking meetings as soon as you can, so that you can gather information for the marketing review, and then looking at budget around week 5, having a bit of a meeting around week 8 so you can just make sure you're on track. And then in week 13, it's like, okay, great, you're going to present your strategy. I will share this course calendar with all of you so that you can really get your head around what will I be doing when if I join this course, and just make sure those dates work well for you. So why is the course different? I really believe that because I make a promise that I will never use a single word of jargon, because I just don't think it's necessary. That is something that I really think has made it different, and what, in terms of the testimonials I'll show you in a minute, what I've been told has made it different. There's a huge focus on leadership buy-in. I really know that the biggest difficulty that we marketers face is not only having a strategy, but actually getting that budget and getting that buy-in. There's a massive focus on how to break down the walls between you and sales colleagues, how to command respect, and how to have conversations and frame things slightly differently so that even if people attack you, you've got the tools to go back to them. For example, one of the things that we talk about in the course is when someone attacks you, like, oh, marketing are rubbish, all you do is colouring in, or you say no to everything. It's going back to them with a curious question as opposed to being defensive. So you could say, I'm really interested in your perspective on that. Could you tell me a bit more with an example so we can really look into it and see how we can work together? And just doing that kind of puts people in a position where subconsciously they know, I don't want to attack that person, because it gets it put back to me to have to kind of then figure out my way out of it. And that feels uncomfortable. I think I might start showing them respect next time. And just little things like that that you can start to action immediately and start to feel like, okay, this is actually really making me get more respect in the business. This course was built based on demand. People were asking me to share my templates, asking me to build a course. I'm not selling something that I thought might be good. It was just, this is what people wanted. I did a huge amount of insight work on what people don't like about courses, what they find difficult, what their experience has been on other programs that are fantastic and necessary. But when they're at a point where they just want to get a strategy built and they're a bit stuck, it's been for that reason. What will the outcome be? After 13 weeks, you will have a strategy. It will be there to present to your leaders. They will already be massively part of that strategy because you'll have built everything around what they've told you. Within 3 weeks, I've had leaders say, our marketer is a new person. I'm so impressed with the change I've seen with the questions they're asking me. This is brilliant. So far, so good. You are going to get leadership recognizing your worth. And if they don't, you might be asking yourself, is this where I want to be? You're definitely going to see your imposter syndrome. I would like to say that if you really commit to the process, if you really implement the mindset work, I would like to say that your imposter syndrome will pretty much be gone, in the sense that everyone has those niggling doubts, but it won't be affecting your life in any large way like it used to. You'll also be able to deal better with your colleagues, and you will have made your breakthrough. Who is it for? It's for B2B marketers. It's for people who are curious and open to learn. You need to be a generalist marketer because there's nothing very specialist in here. The overwhelmed, confused marketer, again, we've talked about imposter syndrome. The course is not for people who are not working in marketing. So if it's a company owner, what we don't want is salespeople in here who just want to learn about marketing, because it doesn't make it a particularly nice space. We need to be able to talk openly about how mean salespeople can be to us. Those who are not willing to follow a process, you're very welcome to buy it and rush ahead and do the course. But what I would say is that the process is where you'll get value. So you do want to be willing to break the mold and follow a process and really trust in the process. The other one is that if you are a niche expert, like if you're an SEO wizard and you like absolutely love it and you want to deepen your knowledge, this is not going to be for you. We don't go into massive detail, though you can ask me anything. This is about selecting our strategies, choosing our tactics, and we're not going to be deep diving into every single aspect. Okay, so this is Lee's, and she has a bit of a testimonial for us. I don't really want to, it feels a bit awkward reading it out, but Lee's has transformed her marketing function. She got investment to work with fantastic agency partners. She got her strategy implemented. She is respected. She is the person that I talked about whose imposter syndrome is gone. She's happy in the lead up to Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, and she's just feeling so much better. We've got Lauren, who's actually here today. She's become much more strategic in her role. She believes that what sets it apart was my empathy that I infused in the lesson, and that is because I care about you guys. And so Lauren implemented her strategy. She has done so much. She's also built her own community off the back of it all as well, which is not thanks to me, that's thanks to her. Massive turnaround. So well done to Lauren. Zanaba was amazing. Zanaba actually moved on to a different role because she found that actually she made all these huge changes. She got a budget increase, she got the respect she deserved. But when she became the true, full, authentic, strategic version of herself, she realized it's time for me to move on. It's time for a change. She did some amazing work at the company she was in when she was on BBA, but she moved on and she was such an exciting transformation. I actually heard from Jennifer's CEO within weeks of working together. They were like, we've already noticed a massive shift in Jennifer's performance. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is like, it's not just about you feeling like you're doing a great job as a marketer, but your lead is actually feeling it too. That was really interesting. I'm just going to tell you a bit about the course pricing. So the full price of the course is $12.97. I will be honest with you, I feel that this course is worth £2,000, $19.97. I was thinking of going with at some point in the future. I feel like it's worth that. It's 13 weeks. It's everything you're going to need. It's a massive transformation, but it's relatively new in terms of how many launches I've done. The full price for the minute is $12.97. The first launch price is $9.97 and our early bird price is $6.97. That's plus VAT. Just keep that in mind. I do have options to split the payments, which for some reason it splits it and then takes £300 off the first payment, which means that you can join today from as little as £198 plus VAT, because for some reason it takes the £300 off the first payment. I didn't go out my way to change it because I just thought that's a nice way to do things. And then you would pay again in a month's time. If you head to b2bjade.com, you're getting all my emails. You guys know the deal. You can join the 13th of January intake using the code earlybird300 for joining the course. And then, yeah, you can join. It'll be so fun if you can. I'm going to head over to you guys now to answer any questions you have. Brian says, hi all, I'm struggling with the unrealistic task wheel as a one-person marketing team with an assistant, but I know the extra workload will fall back on me when their contract ends. A vague business plan and future means a difficult way to plan a strategy. Yeah, that's a really tricky one that you're in. And I think that is why creating a marketing strategy is about what's realistic with the resources available. And that's a huge focus within this course. Hi, Jade. I struggle with number of tasks I need to deal with. Yep, everyone's on the task wheel. Hey, all, greetings from Poland. I'm so scared of the next year. It's supposed to be a nightmare. The purchase path is getting longer. I feel like the company is expecting marketing to act like sales. Yeah, that's a huge one as well. The purchase path is getting longer. I feel like marketing is often expected to act like sales, and that is a massive problem because we need to see sales and marketing as one integrated flow. So it's not about marketing, just do this and then sales take over, or marketing have to get X amount of leads and sales have to get X amount of sales. It's really about it all being together. I have a question here from Olivia. How long would we have access to each module for? Within the 13-week program, there's 6 modules, and module 1 is open for 3 weeks. Not that it closes, it's just that you've got that module for 3 weeks. The reason I did that, and Lauren can kind of back me up here, is that we actually did the first BBA round. We did it in 6 weeks. And so Lauren will know that, wow, was that a big ask, because that meant doing the marketing review in 1 week. That was a nice learning curve for me. When I did a bit of follow-up work with all the guys who did it, there were about 60 of them, we found that 3 weeks would be the sweet spot, because in week 1, you want to watch the video lesson, get your head around the template, organize some meetings to get the information you don't have, give them time to get you the information, maybe even talk to a few customers to get some insights. We've got 3 weeks for module 1. And then the remaining 5 modules, you get 2 weeks. That's what makes the course 13 weeks. What I will say is that the 13 weeks is a guide. There is no pressure here. This is not about you feeling like, oh my gosh, I've got a massive event and I've fallen a week behind. The course content is available to lifetime access. Like, you can take 2 years to make your strategy if you want. I just think that it's good for people to commit to a time scale and say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow this time scale once and for all, because I am hopeless at habits. I'm hopeless at like sticking to things. And I thought, let me make this as enjoyable and simple as possible for everyone who is taking the course. I hope that answers the question. What time will live calls take place? I want to talk to you about how the live calls work. At the moment, there is a monthly course Q&A that's already set up that everyone who's ever taken BBA is allowed to join. On those calls, be there. There might be some people who are taking it independently or have taken it in the past. Like Lauren might hop on and say, oh, I'm having a bit of a problem with a salesperson. What can I do? Those are on, and they're 1:30 p.m. UK time. And they're every few Tuesdays. The dates are in the community. And then I'm going to sandwich in every other week so that twice a month, basically, you've got live access to me. I understand that's tricky based on time zones. I've got someone from Australia, and it basically means that no matter what time I organize them, it's going to be tough for them. There always are live recordings shared. And what I say to people when they can't join live is if they want to send me a question, then I'll make sure I cover it in detail and then just make sure that everyone gets the support they need. Okay. Another question. I'm currently working as a marketing specialist doing all sorts of marketing tasks, mostly writing and messaging, but I'm working towards transitioning into a more strategic role. Is this course right for me? I feel the budget part is something I might not be privy to. If you are in quite a specialist role and you plan to stay in that specialist role, I probably wouldn't suggest it's the best use of your time. But if you do need to cover the overall marketing activity plan and be more strategic in your company, definitely, I think it's just really easy to go from where you are now to being able to implement a marketing strategy. I just feel like it's the easiest way. And I might actually ask Lauren to say something here.
Yeah, I couldn't recommend the course enough. I've done like CIM courses in the past. I did my diploma back in 2023. And although I found the course, really useful and it enabled me to get to where I am today, it was so technical and almost overwhelming when it comes to different metrics and frameworks and marketing jargon. Like it can become quite intense. And then that to me fueled my imposter syndrome, because then I thought, I don't actually know what these different types of frameworks mean. I don't know what that word means. Where when I did BBA, I felt like you were talking my language. And I also felt it was really personable as well. I felt like I was being guided. I wasn't being spoken at. I was actually being talked to. I feel like that's the difference, where you were almost hand holding and kind of guiding us through each stage of the process. So to me, out of all the marketing courses I've done, like I said, I've done quite a few, I felt like it related to me the most and has helped me the most in my role. I only been working in marketing for just over 4 years. I started out in sales. I was that really annoying salesperson who thought they knew marketing, but I really didn't know marketing. And I've been working in marketing for 4 years. I started out as a marketing assistant and I've progressed really quickly. I'm really fortunate, but I've progressed really quickly to now a marketing manager. And hopefully one day I'd like to, become head of marketing or even a marketing director. And this course has really, really helped me get to where I am today. And I'm really grateful for it.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Lauren. I promise I did not pay
No
her to say
worries.
that. I really
I know
appreciate
she
it.
really
And
didn't.
it's just nice to like the course is built for people like Lauren. And I think that most of the people here I've interacted with at some place or another. And I think the messaging on my TikTok and the podcast attracts the right people. If you relate to Lauren and where she was at all, because I do feel like a lot of people have done courses. It's not like marketing assistants who've never really worked in marketing before. It's often someone might have a degree or they've done their CIM, and this just feels like a nice little practical next step. So thank you so much for that. But back to your question, Chantel, I would say that, yeah, if you are trying to become more of a strategic marketer who covers all of marketing, not just messaging and content, then probably, yes, it's going to be great for you. I don't want to sell something to people that isn't right for them. Just check in with yourself that that is the direction you want to take, because what you don't want to do is trying to major in messaging and content and writing, but also kind of being pulled over here with strategy and covering everything. I do think it would be good for you if that is your reality. Brittany says, do people personally pay for the course or ask the company they work for to cover the cost? Are there any resources to pitch the course to the company to cover? Brittany, that is such a good question, because I get really mad when people have to pay for this themselves, because I've had so many people self-fund the course, and like Then they build this beautiful strategy for this company. And as much as I love, and I know I would have self-funded a course that I was interested in the past myself, but it just frustrates me because it's such a symptom of that B2B marketing gap, isn't it? Where leaders won't pay for something that directly benefits them because they don't see the value in it. So wherever possible, I really encourage people to get their leaders to pay. There is a leaders guide available. Download the leaders guide and it talks in their language. It's like, how is it going to benefit them? Because obviously my website is a little bit more geared to you guys. The other thing I would say is if you're really struggling, feel free to email me. I can always help you with crafting something. Like if you tell me their objections, I really like to help people so they don't have to pay for it themselves. What I will say is that if you do end up paying for it yourself, the hopefully the early bird and the split payment option makes that feel a lot more realistic for you. I never want someone to feel like funds are a reason they can't get involved. Please always keep in touch with me on that. I hope that helps. We've got a mention to Lauren here saying, I'm just starting my level 6 CIM. Would it be too much doing this at the same time or would it help? My thoughts on this are, and I know this person is super excited to join B2B Breakthrough Academy. I actually do feel like it would be a lot. And I know that's probably like not what I should say. Because I should be like, no, go for it. It'd be amazing. I think that you need the space to do this course. There is always the option to enroll on the independent learning once you finished your CIM level 6. As much as I'm like gutted, because I really would love you to be on this, Brian, I'm just being honest that if you do plan to do both at the same time, it could be full on. But Lauren is being asked. Lauren, what do you think? And
Yeah,
feel free to
I
disagree
I
with me.
agree. No, I do agree. The level 6 is heavy, but you do have gaps. So it depends when you're
Mm.
starting the CIM course, because I kind of took around 18 months to complete it because it is kind of you're in control of how quickly you do the CIM course. And I did it in 18 months because I needed that break in between because it is quite full on. So it just depends, I think, if you're willing to take the longer gap. Because if there's still the digital strategy module, then it may go hand in hand with BBA. So then, there's that kind of
Mm.
option. But yeah, it is a lot. This is the equivalent of a degree. I think lots of people forget that. It's the equivalent of an undergrad degree. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. It starts now, basically. So it would be
Okay.
the
Yeah.
strategy and planning now for the next 2 to 3 months, basically. So that's why I wondered whether
Yeah.
it could go hand in hand and kind of
It would go
simplify
hand
the.
in hand, but it would be a lot of work for you. It's each person's different. How your brain works and how you work. You may enjoy like working under pressure. Some people thrive off it. The ball's in your court, I would say.
This course is all about like going easy on yourself, not making work your entire world. I'm leaning towards it'd be too much. The other thing to consider is that you do have lifetime access to the course. I just worry that you'd struggle with like the hopping on of the live calls. Then again, one thing to consider is that the 13-week program is there. Say I'm opting out of this 13-week, I'll work through because you'd have access to the live calls for a whole year. That's also worth considering. I would have a real solid think about it because I think going into the new year after Christmas, you're like knee deep in CIM and there's a course starting soon. Maybe it's better for you just to join on the independent learning later on, but I'll leave it with you, Brian. I know you're really keen to join. Does that help at all?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, and I'm still, I still don't know whether, like Lauren said, I know that you can defer. Once you've started, you can, create your own gaps and stuff like that.
Have a little soul search and see what's right. But we'd obviously love to have you. And I'm sure that at some point in the future, we will have you. I'll just talk to you about the next steps from here. Like I said, I'm not just saying it. I do feel like it's worth 2000. Some of the other courses I've seen, I'm like, I do think it's on par with that. I do think it's worth it. But I also get that in these low budget times and with sometimes people self-funding, I'd rather just get more of you in and make it affordable. For a minute, it is like ridiculously low price, but I'm just glad to have people in. I just think it's going to be such a nice energy with us all together. You also are going to get a free crash course in AI. that I just feel is so important. We're going to tag it onto the end of the 13 weeks. It's going to happen in around April time. You've got that room to breathe. It's going to be with my friend Ben, who is called Ben Lee. He's an AI expert. He's unbelievable, but also practical and down to earth. You'll get free enrollment to that like kind of mini course as well. We're going to be talking loads about how to use AI in really practical ways to actually make it easier to implement your strategy. I think it'll be a really nice sort of tag on to that. If you're done in by then and you just want to watch the replay course, that will always be available to you, of course. As a reminder, when you join, you will be able to join the community immediately. So I'll be there like tomorrow. You can be like, hey, Jenny literally introduced herself yesterday, I think. And it's like, yay, hi, we know each other now. It's just really nice. You'll get that. You'll get access to the course platform straight away, but the modules will release. But you do have the mindset motivation sessions, which actually could be really nice to watch in this sort of quieter time in the lead up to Christmas. The start of a new year is a real time of personal growth and reflection. And it's just such a nice, they're really nice, cozy sessions to just make you feel less alone. I really dig into imposter syndrome, really dig into mental health, dealing with mean sales colleagues, dealing with leadership who don't understand us. And those sessions can just be really healing, I think. So I have a question here, Zedge. I would like to join your course, but before signing up, I'd like to know if you think the course is still a good fit for someone more focused on than business to government rather than B2B. Yeah, this is a funny one. What you're really going to be learning about is how to create a strategy that helps, because this is why I love like not talking in jargon. Marketing strategy is really just about helping the organization you work in, the business you work in, understand its customers better and better meet their needs and create a process for getting them to see that you would be a good option for working with them. I know there's a lot of red tape in the way that your buyer journey is going to work, but trust will come into it. If you feel like it's obviously not going to be specialist in business to government, but I do feel like the buying journey is similar. It's about identifying decision makers. It's about understanding the pain points, the issues, the process they go through. So that might be a more rigid process. There might be fewer things that you can do in how you interact with them. But I don't see it that different as like construction businesses who are on like major frameworks and things like that. I feel like it would be, but if you feel like you need something very specific to business to government, maybe not. Great question. And I just want to be as honest as I can so that I don't want anyone to join and feel like, oh, this isn't for me. And I guess I'll just use the last few minutes to say, even if you don't join the course, no problem. Thanks for being here. Please, please keep listening to the podcast. Reach out to me with things you're struggling with. My mission is not to sell courses, because when I left corporate in 2016 to set up on my own, I started consulting CEOs, and the CEOs were just saying, oh, my marketing manager, they're not doing their job properly. And just really frustrated me. I started coaching the marketing managers and really helping them. But then when the TikTok grew, there were too many people to look after. We moved into a course. And that's why I'm here, is to be on a mission to make it more easy for people to overcome imposter syndrome, build their confidence, stand up to those CEOs, because I had your back when I was consulting CEOs. I told them, you are putting too much pressure on this person. They are not senior enough to create a strategy, and really having their back. That's what I want to do. So Jenny's asking how many people are typically on the course. It's really hard for me to know how many people will actually sign up to this round of BBA. The first round we had 45. And so then on the live calls, they were typically between 20 and 30, depending on who could make it. It was a nice enough number to feel like we're all together in this, but not too many that your voice wasn't heard. Like everyone knew each other by the end. People were friends. So Jenny, as people start to arrive, and you can see and introduce yourself when people join, they'll kind of introduce. I think there's 3 others who haven't yet introduced themselves, so hopefully they will soon. It's hard to know how many will. It might be the same, might be less, might be more. Brittany says, really hope I can join this course. I struggle with imposter syndrome in a one-person marketing team. I've been following you for a while. Thanks for the session. Brittany, I know your name. That's what I love, seeing people here. And just even if we all just stay in contact and you don't join the course, we can be friends. So it's all good. I've really appreciated interacting with you all by email. You can email me on support@b2bj.com if you've got any questions at all. I'm always there for you. Obviously, inside the community, I can be there for you more because we've got those regular live calls, and you can join those literally for the whole year. And then you can stay in the community after that if you want to. You can ask me questions, you can ask other people questions, you can make friends. But I am always here for you as well. I really hope to see you guys joining the course. But again, in the meantime, reach out to me if there's anything I can help you with. Thank you so much for being here tonight.